You're listening to Until They Sleep, a podcast where two parents finally get to sit down and discuss all the different things that run through their heads every day because their four kids are finally asleep. Thanks for listening. Hi, and welcome back to Until They Sleep. This is Chantal.
This is Daniel.
What are we going to talk about today?
I think this is going to be another one of those ramble on episodes.
I think I did have some fact checking to do, right, from our last episode about Easter and the different spring celebrations. So I do have some of that to correct myself on or give more info.
Correct me on.
Correct us.
Yeah, that sounds great. So let's do a little kind of, fact check on stuff. And then there's little things going on.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll just start with the fact checking. So we're going to fact check. For those of you who have listened to our last episode,
yeah.
If you have not listened to it, then this is just filler information, correcting some of the things we said or giving a little more detail on some of the things we said in the previous episode, which was episode 15, because this is now episode 16. So I did want to... Did you want to say something?
So episode 15 was pretty much talking about Easter celebrations,
spring celebrations,
and how different cultures and religions celebrate, and how we grew up and how we did it our own ways,
and what we're teaching our kids.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
So as always, I'm not an educated monkey, so I just kind of babble on, and I shoot from the hip and come out with random questions, and some of the stuff I guess my wife is gonna fact check me on the stuff, and who knows?
And I'm fact checking myself because I think I did most of the.
And we all know how wives love to prove husbands wrong. So
I'm not trying to prove you wrong. It's just correcting myself. For example, I did talk about Bede, and I wanted to kind of clarify who he was. I just said that he was some kind of church person from back in the day. So actually, Bede was a monk. He was around during the late 1600s. And he actually was a monk at the monastery of St. Peter and also at the monastery of St. Paul in Northumbria of the Angels. And he recorded, I guess his most famous work is called the Historia Ecclesiastica Gentis Anglorum. My son will kill me for butchering the Latin.
I was going to say, you said... It sounds Latin, but you said it was from Northumbria?
Yeah, well, okay, so during that time, the Catholic Church ruled that part of England. So the translation of this is that it is the ecclesiastical history of the English people. And what it basically is a record of the conversion of the English tribes to Christianity. And that was actually completed in 731 when Bede was 59 years old. And Bede is the one who made the notation about the story of Eostre, who is the goddess of spring in the Germanic tribes, as well as the Anglo-Saxon tribes. So that was one thing I wanted to clarify is who he was.
So Bede, is it spelled like beads?
It's Bede.
Okay.
And then the other thing I wanted to clarify was you asked me about Slavic region. And basically the Slavic region is considered to include the Czechs, the Hungarians, the Sorbians, the Lithuanians, the Poles, Slavics, and Ukrainians.
Okay, so that's kind of like what I was...
It's Eastern Europe, mostly.
So not just one place. It was kind of like a continent kind of at
that
time.
So it's considered Eastern Europe.
A whole region.
But then if you look at a map online, it also includes Russia. So I guess it just depends on what map you're looking at or what source of information you're looking at. It includes Eastern Europe, most of Eastern Europe, and the Russian region. And that's where those really fancy eggs and decorated eggs came from.
Okay.
And then another thing was pastel colors. Why in the world do we use pastel colors at the time of Easter? Well, pastel colors aren't always bright. They're very subdued colors. So I found that...
Subdued,
not bright.
So I can call people pastel? Like, you're such a pastel person.
I guess. Yeah, it is.
As an insult, right?
I guess you could. You're not bright. You're describing them. That's right. That's actually probably a very intelligent way to put somebody down because they're going to be like, what? I don't get it.
I think I found my new favorite insult.
So if he calls you pastel, he's telling you you're not too bright. So as far as these pastel colors, in 1198, Pope Innocent III, he released the Sacro Altaris Mysterio, or the Mystery of the Sacred Altar. And in that, he announced what the colors were going to be for Easter and why.
Every time we talk Latin, I think you're doing an exorcism.
What, do you need one? Maybe.
People have said I need one.
So basically, his point was that white stands for light and purity and the joy and glory of God. Violet is for penance and humility, as well as wisdom and melancholy. And it is, I guess, most important during the time of Lent. The color green signifies the Holy Spirit and the Christian's faith of the Holy Trinity. Yellow and gold were supposed to represent joy and sunshine. Pink was supposed to be for a gorgeous sunrise, which also represents this joy. Red is supposed to be for the Passion of Christ or his martyrdom. And black is associated with mourning. Some people did use black because of Good Friday.
Real quick. So, remind me again, what was violet again?
Violet was for penance, humility, wisdom, melancholy.
Because I see a lot of people wear violet. Like the violet pastel.
Yeah, so that's what it is. And it's supposed to be specifically during the time of Lent.
Okay. Real quick, side note, okay? Real quick. So on the last recording, we were away from our studio, and well, you know, we like to keep a promise, and we put out our stuff, and it released a day late because we're on a family trip. But I tried to listen to part of it, and I thought for the longest time that during that recording, I sounded like I was having a hard time breathing, and then I came to realize that it was our extraordinary co-host in the background. Snoring away or Great Dane.
I said that.
And you pointed it out. So I kind of want to point it out again.
Yes, because we are.
I am picking her up so clearly right now.
Yeah.
She is.
Snoring away.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So people, it is not me huffing and puffing and, okay, talking. All right. It is our Great Dane in the background.
Yes.
And then you might hear another noise in the background. That's because
our 4-year-old has not fallen asleep.
Yeah, and well, we have a deadline, so we're recording.
We're recording through this. We're not gonna. We've got plans the rest of the week, so we've got to get this done. And so, okay. Another thing I wanted to. Anything else before I go on?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to check myself on was the gods or goddesses that included hares that were their animals were hares.
We're talking about now.
So during the Iron Age, there was the goddess Andraste. The Romans actually had Diana Andraste. That's what they called her, Diana Andraste. And then in Wales, they had Saint Melangel or Melangel. I'm probably saying that incorrectly, and that was during medieval times. It's also, I'm going to totally butcher this because it's a Chinese god from specific area of Beijing, is Tuerye. And then, of course, for Freya, for the Nordic region, Freya's symbols were the hares. Hermes was for their swiftness. And then one last thing I'm checking myself on had to do with our discussion about time travel. Within the MCU. And
the fact that you're fact checking yourself.
I'm fact checking myself because I had said that my husband referenced that Star Trek, that as a Trekkie that I should know time travel better, and I said that they probably are using black holes, and it's because I'm thinking of the newer version of Star Trek where Nero travels back in time through a black hole.
With Nero, that's my boy, right?
That's your boy Nero, yeah. He travels back in time through a black hole, specifically a black hole.
By my boy, I mean Eric Bana.
Yeah. But when I looked up the information in Star Trek lore, they actually traveled back in time originally by accident. And then in another instance, they traveled via slingshot effect. Mm-hmm. And then the actual time travel rules say that they use wormholes. And in the MCU, they use the Universal Neural Teleportation Network, which is an artificial network of wormholes called jump points. And again, they are wormholes, so they are using the same thing. So the argument was moot because they're using the same thing.
Thank you, James Gunn, for covering that.
So I found the information. I stand corrected. So that is what I wanted to check myself on. I'm sure. Oh. And you said something about Lake Shasta and how much water it had risen.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking it was like 128 feet level of rise.
I read as of March, from January to March of this year, it's risen 84 feet.
How much?
84 feet is what I read.
Okay.
So, and again, I will post links to where I got this information from.
Cool.
So
I see. So I'm gonna confess, I get my alerts from Google, like story wise of stuff that I read. You know how
you can't just AI, go off of one website.
You know, but it was quick. Like I'm at work sometimes, and I get these, and if I dismiss them, I'll never see them again.
Yeah.
So there are times when I just kind of leave them in the background, and then I look at them really quick. But you know, work. Sometimes schedule and everything makes it hard, so I just kind of read really quick. But I could have sworn I saw it saying 120 because I thought that was drastic.
And it's completely possible that it did say it, and maybe it said that they expected 100 and something feet. But as of March, from January to March, the article I found said that it had risen 84 feet.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to your previous subject. Well, we were talking about the gods or goddesses affiliated with a hair, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. I know English is my second language, but hair is a rabbit.
Yes.
Right? So I was kind of hoping that you will bring up one of my cultural gods in there or one of yours. The goddess name, is called Toshli.
Toshli. Okay.
And it's part of the phase of the Aztec calendar. We know how it shows the sun and it has the 4 ways.
Maybe that's why. Because the only reference I found was to the Aztec calendar, like as if it was a month.
No, so Toshli is a rabbit. And so I from my history as a kid and what I've learned, and then it was also part of one of my first like hobby things that I did for myself that I wanted to learn was about how to read like the Aztec calendar and learn about the gods and everything, because I kind of wanted to be like educated on the tattoos that I was going to get.
Okay.
So, which I never did because I found out that they were affiliated with other stuff that I didn't want to be kind of related with. So I just looked it up real quick just to make sure what the name is because I don't remember everything, but Toshli is the meaning for rabbit. And the day of the Aztec calendar is associated with the goddess Mayahuel. Mayahuel is the goddess of fertility, the womb, and the maguey plant used to brew the alcoholic pulque. Toshli is a mystical day, best used to commune with nature. It is a bad day to move against one's enemies.
And what time of year is this?
Now that I do not know.
Okay.
So, but you know, it's
okay. So that's another goddess that the hair is associated with, or rabbits are associated with.
Yeah, and this is, of course, 14th, 16th century, so...
Yeah.
15th century, probably.
And in the end, right, all these different cultures and their association with the hair or rabbits is because of fertility. Yeah. Or like with Hermes, because of their speed.
I'm trying to see if I can find something about a date, you know, like when was it celebrated. But... You know, it says like it's involved with agriculture, and you know, we know that the main crop was maize, so that kind of touches with the maize god that you were talking about.
Oh yeah, in the the Mayan maize god, yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
That was just really quick.
So
it's just I thought about Toshli when you were saying rabbits. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about.
Yeah, and I did see that, but I saw it as a reference to an animal in a month and not a god. So that's why I didn't write it down. And I definitely am not familiar with Aztec or even Incan culture, even though I probably should be, since that is my heritage.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was interesting. I mean,
so that was my fact check. I'm just kind of, again, I will post links. I will post links to all this information.
No, nothing wrong with that. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yep. And thank you for looking up that information on, traveling in space.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, it was not about
I'm happy to prove you right.
But, yeah, I mean.
All right. So that was my part.
Okay. Well, we ended up going to a theme park as a family, minus one, of course, our eldest, and it was awesome. I actually did enjoy it a lot. We went to Universal Studios Hollywood. I wanted to spend 2 days out there.
Yeah.
My plan was try to do as much as we could and follow up one another day for the heck of it. We were lucky and fortunate to pretty much do everything in one day.
Yeah, we did almost get everything done, and
Extra,
the kids did really well.
Yeah, the little ones they usually complain a lot after walking for a while, but they did great.
I think they were just excited because it was something so different for them.
And there's stuff that in the back of their mind they kind of knew. They were like, oh, like Illumination. I didn't know that. Kung Fu Panda and Despicable Me and Life of Pets were all the same thing. To them, all cartoons are probably Disney.
Yeah, they might think that. Yeah, it's a different. I don't even know that they still understand that though, because they've never been to Disneyland. Well, our daughters have never been to Disneyland, and the only amusement park they know is SeaWorld.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
I haven't been there since I was like 18. So
I don't think I've ever. Yeah, I don't think I've. No, I never been to the Hollywood one.
Yeah, but you've been to the one in Orlando.
I went to Orlando because I lived in Orlando for a little bit over a year and a half. And so I was bored a lot of the time. So I got me the pass. And on my weekends, I would go, I don't know, have dinner there or go walk around and see something, see a show, get on a ride. Or so go for Oktoberfest. Mm-hmm. It was cool. It was nice. It's different. It's night and day.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're talking about
it's very different.
We're talking about many, many, many moons ago because they used to have like a superhero island there, and they used to have like what is it part of
Orlando?
Marvel? Yeah,
you're talking about Orlando.
Yeah, like Marvel.
Well, the last time I went, they had Backdraft, and that was not there anymore.
Yeah, see,
I was still happy to see the Jaws section and the King Kong one, even though it's updated, they still had the King Kong one and the Earthquake one, all part of the tram ride.
Yeah, and
I was happy to still see.
And the King Kong was awesome because it was like all 3D and
all of it. I think I'm just awestruck by movie magic.
Yeah,
like we love movies, and for me, I can't say I had one that was. Well, no, I take that back. I do have a favorite now, but it basically took the whole day for me to find my favorite. And it's just, again, movie magic. It's just amazing to me, the technology and movie making and that immersion to make you feel like you're in the movie or a part of the movie. It's not perfect yet. Like the 3D still has a long way to go, as far as 3D glasses and.
Yeah, I think they kind of just do that like basic because how many people they have to cater to, so they don't want to get jacked.
No, and I understand
glasses.
that. No, I understand that, but I mean, it still has a bit to go.
Yeah, it was
that
awesome.
time.
It
was still awesome. But for me, my favorite part was the castle, Hogwarts. Yeah, that was amazing to me. Like again, movie magic, and how they made that show.
And you're a big Harry Potter fan.
I do love Harry Potter. Well, yes, I do.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
I have read all the books.
Yeah, so
before the movies came out.
So it makes sense that like why you would enjoy that part. I mean, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong.
It was beautiful, and to have the full moon go right between
in the background,
the piers of the castle. Yes, it was perfect timing.
Yeah, they blew my mind with the drones. Like I didn't know there were drones. That whole stag.
Yes.
All of a sudden, like so people. So I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's like they have this whole Hogwarts castle in the park, and I guess it's a ride. We didn't get to go on it. We didn't get to go
on it.
The line was usually pretty crazy, but when it was finally at a good, our little one couldn't go on it, and so I was like, I'll stay back with her. You go ahead and get on with one of the kids. And she's like, nah, we'll do it another time. My wife decided not to do it.
Yeah. Well, it was, there were other rides that we hadn't gone on that she could get on. So I figured it was better to go wait in those lines than to waste an hour in that line where you weren't going to be able to get on it.
Right.
So, and we were amazed that our 4-year-old was able to get on most of the rides. And she just made the cutoff for her height. But she had so much fun. Like
she loved it.
She loved
everything about it.
Everything. All the way home, she told us how much she loved everything.
You know the thing that was
She's the only one who
funny.
didn't fall asleep on the
Yeah,
way home.
and because she fell asleep when we went to eat, she
Yeah,
took
that's
that
true. She
long
took a
nap when we
power
went to
nap
eat.
during lunch, during our dinner.
So yeah, we left the park for a few and we went to eat over in City Walk, and she took a power nap at that time. I thought it was pretty packed. My wife says that it wasn't that packed, but to me that was pretty packed. I
I
don't do
compare
good with a
everything
lot of
to
people, so
I compare crowds to Disneyland always, and for us to have gotten on almost every ride, it was not that crowded. So
I thought it was crowded.
we went on a Wednesday, and it was still probably a little crowded compared to a non-break.
Yeah. So I know one day of my time off, you went out to drop off our two boys on their ventures with their uncle.
Oh,
the
yeah,
training.
yeah. Okay, when I went
And
up to
I
drop
was
off.
with the two out of our four. I kept the middle ones with me, and we went out and cruised around. I had a good time. Typical thing, just simple stuff: ice cream,
Yeah, you went to the mall.
mall,
And my
oil
husband
changes.
is a sucker when it comes to his daughters. I'm pretty sure moms, your husbands are super suckers when it comes to their daughters and they buy them whatever the heck they want. Yet, if I want something, it's like pulling teeth. Like, do you really need that? Do you really need that? But your daughter wants, what did you buy her? Some floppy ear head thing at the mall. I don't even want to know how
Angel,
much you spent on that. Angel.
Angel, right? That's her
Yeah,
name.
Stitch's girlfriend. And
It's so cute. It lights up, and you squeeze that
I know
paws,
it's
and
cute.
the ears move, and
And then at Universal, the youngest one got a Minion popcorn thing and one of those giant balloons that I told you not to get her. And you're still going to buy the eldest girl something else.
no, not.
She got the balloon, the 6-year-old, and she was asking for something else, and you were contemplating it.
No, that was a baby.
The 4-year-old wanted something else, and you were going to
Yeah.
buy her. See, okay, she gets almost everything, Dad. We were home, and her brother got something else, and she's, oh, Dad, can you buy me,
The
what was
other
it,
one.
Blue?
Yeah.
She wanted Blue, and
From Jurassic World.
from Jurassic World, yeah. And he was going to buy it for her. I was like, no, you just bought her a Tangled set of toys. Like, why are you going to go? Oh, yeah, I forgot I bought her that.
Because she's my baby. Mm-hmm. My baby dog.
Spoiling her rotten, and then she has a crap attitude, and she doesn't want to eat. Mm-hmm. Anybody else out there?
No,
Anybody else
no,
understand
not my
this?
Baby. Oh, okay. And but overall, yeah. So it was an awesome time. Look forward to going again. Maybe next time we get to do the big kid rides without the baby. There was two
And we
rides
have
she's
to
gonna
take
do.
the eldest now.
Yeah, we had to take the oldest. So, yeah, there was two that the baby couldn't ride on. Whoever.
That was 3.
No, the other one we had to do the online reservation,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was
That's right.
a Secret Life of Pets,
Yeah, yeah.
and
She couldn't
that
ride the
thing-
mummy and
the mummy,
whichever ride was at Hogwarts.
the Harry Potter one, the main one,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was I think that was it. But so the park is divided into two sections, the upper and lower section. So we were kicked in on the upper level. We left really early. LA traffic freaking sucks, so it took us forever to get there.
Oh, it took us
That was another ride.
under 3 hours.
And yeah, that's still too long. And that was like literally to go 17 miles. It was 47 minutes.
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
That's
That's the reason we don't go to LA.
7 miles was like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, get out of here. Like with that, like this.
There's a reason we don't go to LA.
And well, yeah. So we made it later than expected, and we didn't go automatically to the lower level like we had originally planned, but we hung out on the upper level.
Everything worked out,
did
though.
our thing. Yeah, it worked out. It was a good time, and it was crazy because I guess they just added Super Mario World. Mm-hmm. So just about everybody there was like dressed up with some Mario crap.
Yeah.
And everybody was in that. But every time we looked down at the Mario World place from the upper, it was packed. Every time we looked at the waiting times, it was more than 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And so we finally made it down there at night. and it was still packed, and it
Yeah.
was a tiny little thing,
It's
but
really,
everybody's
actually really
going
small.
crazy
Yeah.
over it, especially because it was a day that the movie came out.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that was even more crazy. And there was people that just went for that and then they will leave. So they were like pass holders, I imagine.
Probably. Yeah. There was really nothing to do there. Okay, if you don't have that wristwatch thing to like do power ups or whatever else that's going on there, there's really nothing else to do.
But overall, I was hoping to have a great time. I had a great time. I had a
did.
good time.
I had a great time too. The kids had a great time.
We were all sore the following day.
From
All of us.
all the walking.
But yeah, that was awesome. I was just bummed out we didn't get to crash or do it again for the following day. But it was fine. It worked out. And then so now I've gotten to know my kids a whole lot more. I've got to spend some good time with them and play and talk.
I think this was a good break. So my husband doesn't usually take time off to be with the kids during their breaks. So this was the first time he's taken the whole week off.
Yeah, and usually it works out that way because like my sick time, my vacation time, it gets used because somebody dies or somebody's sick and I had to help
Yeah.
out. Like
And
so
you
by
use
the
it up.
time, by the time that the kids have a break, I'm like out of time.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what? Everything's been good this year so far.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, man, let me just take some time off. And I loved it. I mean, I know a lot of my friends and people that I work with are like, going somewhere to Mexico or something, some timeshare, and I kind of feel like,
Or they're going to Europe or they're going
some of
all
them,
over the
yeah.
place. Yeah.
So maybe next year, I might be able to do that.
Yeah.
Just
This
for a
is so
week.
cool. I mean, I had fun. The kids had fun. It's
yeah,
something.
it's been great.
Again, I haven't been there since I was 18, and it's super different than when I was that age.
Yeah,
So.
no. So Monday I had fun with the two. Tuesday kind of chilled, and we were getting excited to go do that, and I ran some errands with them, so they were happy about that. While you worked, so how's your work time been now that for this week that you had you had me hanging around?
It was fine. I mean, I was able to work what I wanted to work, so
So it worked out.
I got my stuff done.
Yeah, we had some fun, and then just to kind of seal it off, we taking out the kids to the movies, cooking from Dad, some takeout.
Oh
with
yes,
Dad.
I'm grateful that he's home because he's the one who's been cooking.
So
Yay!
But it's been awesome. I just kind of feel weird because it is different with our oldest not being here, and I told him I felt bad that he was going away while I was going to be home, and he's like, "It's cool, Dad. I mean, it's only a week."
Yeah, but I guess he's having fun, right? Because
I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
So
Okay, so that's another topic,
that's
right?
a topic right there. Yeah.
So I don't know if other parents have experienced this where, they send their kids off away with family members or their friends and you text them to check in and see if they're having a good time and you get nothing. Maybe before they finally go to bed or when they wake up the next morning, if they look at your messages, they'll answer is like, yes, okay, and that's it.
So when I was a teenager or a kid, I did go away. My oldest brother would take me 1 week in a month to be with him, spend some time with him and his family. And as a teenager, my stepmom had a grandson who was like my best friend, and I used to go spend time with him weeks, months, sometimes during the summer. We did a lot of crap together, and I always checked in with my dad. I will always, I guess he called it, I had to report in. I had to check in. So I remember one of the times I went away, one of the first times, I didn't do that. And man, I mean, I got scolded. I was but I'm with my brother. I was like, I don't give a damn. I'm like, I'm your father. You need to let me know where you are, with who, whatever. Let me know that you're okay, you're fine. So I was like, all right. I got to a point in my life where I always felt like it didn't matter because he just blow me off. Like, hey, sir, I'm just calling to check in and let you know that I'm doing fine. That's fine. I don't care. Bye. Mm-hmm. But now I kind of get it. That's just the persona that he was, that tough love. But I know that whenever I went back, the treatment was better than when I didn't check in. Because it
Mm-hmm.
got to a point too where I was like, F it, I'm not checking in,
Yeah.
And I went back and I got like the silent treatment or the stink eye or something like that. So that's how I was raised. So I kind of expect my son to check in with me. I know we had a talk before he left. I know he's with his uncle, so he's with family. And then right now, I guess his grandpa and his other uncle are
His
there.
Nino,
Yeah.
yeah, his godfather. They're all there
So they're
together.
all together. But still, I think that maybe he should be checking in with his mom because obviously he talks to you a lot. So with
Well, he
you,
hasn't talked to me. I swear, hey, the only message I've got from him is okay and yes. And it was fine. I think that's all I've gotten. Or yeah, he's fine because I asked about the dog.
yeah. So I texted him after you told me that you texted him and he never answered you, and I was kind of giving you tough love, being like, "Who cares? Like he's with your brother, he's fine. Like not your responsibility no more. That's on your brother. Like what do you expect? Stop fixing it. He was on a break. Give him a chance, give him a break." But I was a little bothered by it, and then so I kind of reached out too, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I didn't get any answer or anything. And then I checked in again, I think, when we were at the park, and he didn't answer me. So our little one said, "Oh, Dad, my phone is out of time. You think give me a few more minutes?" I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I'll give you some more minutes, man. Why not? We're still out here. We've been active. You need to have your phone active in case we get separated." So I went in there and gave him extra time. And then I went and I blocked the other one. Because I was like, well, if you don't have time to answer your mother and you don't have time to answer your father, then you must not be using your phone. So you don't need
You don't need
You
your
don't need
phone.
it, so I
Mm-hmm.
turned it off for the day. I still think you turned it on, but you say it resets
No, it
itself.
resets itself. I did not turn it back on, but it resets itself every morning. But
So
either way, I mean, maybe he really was that busy because he's
yeah, you could
supposed
have
to
been
be there
tired.
working.
Yeah, you could have been
He's,
tired and passed out of sleep. I'll
yeah.
give him that. But I got an answer the next day saying I'm fine or okay or something like that, and I was like, "Would you?" I was like, "Good to know. You need to elaborate a bit more on your
I told
answers."
him the same thing. I said, can we pretend that we're driving home and you have a lot to tell me like you
Well,
usually do? And I have yet to hear from him.
Well, I guess now that I know that that's how he answers his texts, that makes me think that that's probably the reason why he doesn't have a lot of friends and why the girls usually get mad at him and stop texting him after a while.
Could
So
be.
this was literally, oh yeah, my text said, "How are you doing?" This was on a Wednesday at 5 o'clock. He answered me Thursday at 12:30, saying, "Good."
That's it.
My reply was okay, and then it followed with this. Would you like to elaborate a bit more in your answer? This will be beneficial for you in all future endeavors, especially with the female species. I am yet to hear an answer, but he read that immediately because my phone is telling me he read it immediately. People, yeah, these teenagers, man.
Can I tell you mine?
Okay.
Okay. So I wrote to him on Friday at 9:46 in the morning. I said, "Good morning. How was last night? Did your grandpa and your Nino show up?" I got an answer at 7:54 p.m. saying yes. That's it. And then I put and question mark pretend we're driving home and you have stuff to tell me. Are you exhausted today, having fun, or has it been all work? And that was at 8:23 p.m. that I sent that on Friday, and I have yet to get an answer.
Well, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt right now that they're working him, and he must be
Well,
exhausted.
if his Nino's there, you know he's working him.
Probably,
Like
I don't know.
his godfather is all about hard work and like I believe my and well I did talk to my brother because my mom's been talking to them and I asked him I was like, "Hey, how's he doing?" He's like, "Oh, he's working hard. We're keeping him busy." So, I figure that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't get this kid.
Teenagers.
I mean, check in, man. Like, just be I'm doing fine or an excuse to.
Yeah.
Like I said, I told him, man, buddy, I'm gonna miss you. Like, it sucks that I'm taking this week off. You're not gonna be here, and he's like, oh, it's just a week, no big deal. But I always find it funny, they need something. They're like all there. It's like my wonderful daughter, it's like it was hilarious. She's like, Daddy, And then the youngest one's like, watch. He's well, I want. And she starts saying, I want. And the little one's like, yeah, we know. You want dessert, right? And she's like, no, I want a hug, Daddy. Can I hold you? I love you, Daddy. I want dessert. And I was like, your little sister called it. She was like, no, that's not what I was doing it. I was like, yeah, no, you changed it because your little sister called you on it. So it's just funny how when they want something, they're so loving and affectionate. But
And
when they
attentive
don't,
to their chores and whatever else they need to do. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has any, like, they have that issue, or if you let your kids go with family, do they have like a thing that they have to report after 24 hours or 48 hours, or is it just a day drop off or something? But if we go away, like when we went away and we dropped them off, we will call every night just to see how he was doing, right?
Yeah, when we would, like the time we went to Vegas and we left the kids with my family.
Yeah, which was funny because I remember they were little, and I was like, "Oh, can you put them on the phone?" And it was like, "Hey, baby," and they're like, "Gotta go, bye."
Yeah, they didn't care.
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, I'm getting candy, I'm getting everything, I'm getting fed
attention.
in my mouth like a baby here."
Yes.
You know, I'm a god.
Maybe
here.
we need to just do that again.
Servants.
We haven't been away, just the two of us, in forever. Maybe we just need to do that. My mom swears she can handle it.
You know, that's the funny part though, because we go on date nights every once in a while.
Yeah.
And our phones are nonstop.
But it's the 10-year-old.
Yeah, but even the oldest one has done it to me.
I think he does it to me to complain about the kid, the rest of them. Or my mom will be like, "Oh, the kid said to message you," and sometimes I wonder if it's her.
Yeah,
checking in
just to
on
scare
us.
them. Yeah. I'm gonna tell your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
You don't believe me?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm texting your mom.
I believe that would happen too, but yeah, our 10-year-old though, because he now can contact us, he'll Snapchat or something. He'll be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Are you guys eating yet?" I was like, "Yeah, we just sat down to eat." "Okay, have a good dinner. Can you bring me something?" This is
Oh, you know what? Before I forget, I wanted to touch on another subject real quick.
Okay.
So when we were going to Universal Studios, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, it kind of slipped out. And I told the kids because it was supposed to be a surprise, but I told the kids, and then to
I
get
was
them
surprised when they were telling me
to make it more exciting. I was like, hey, put on Harry Potter for them. Like, so that, because the castle thing, whatever. It backfired. I have been having Harry Potter marathons on the daily.
Yeah, this whole vacation, he has been watching Harry Potter movies every day. Just finished the last one.
So I watched them with you.
A long time ago.
Movie theaters. I think I went every time one of them came out. We would go and we would take the oldest one, but the oldest one, the
23-year-old.
Yeah, and so because both of you are like really big Harry Potter fans, and I kind of watched them once, whatever. Sometimes I catch pieces, I guess, if they're on TV or you guys are kind of rewatching them, but I haven't sat down to watch them myself. And I'm like, man, I don't remember this. I don't remember that. And I'm like asking you questions, and you're working over there, and I'm like, hey, so what is this? And hey, so I've really enjoy the crap out of the movies, but right now, as I was thinking about it, like as I was watching the last one, I was like, these movies are boring. These movies suck.
And but it's because you don't like the ending.
And then I'm like, this movie's
it's okay. I don't like the
crazy.
I don't like the ending either.
Like they're too long for that point. It's just, but then I'm like, dude, you watched all these 8 movies in under 3-4 days. Like, it can't suck that bad.
Well, and then you were complaining about, and every time I try to do my Star Wars marathons, you guys don't. The kids disappear because the kids were kind of paying attention to Harry Potter, right?
So that was my other thing, yeah. So we sometimes we put on movies or whatever, and they get easily distracted and they blow it off and they're running and they're screaming and like they pick a movie but they're not really watching it, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put a Harry Potter on. And it gets quiet, and they sit down and they watch it. And they're like, I don't want to watch Harry Potter. But as soon as it starts, they're like sitting there.
They do that with lots of movies.
And our oldest daughter,
the 6-year-old.
Yeah, the 6-year-old. Oh my goodness. she has cried so much the last 2-3 days.
Yeah, with everybody dying.
Every time a character dies, it is nonstop crying. But the little, what was it?
Oh, Dobby.
Dobby. I don't
When
want to say a
Dobby,
name, but I want to say what was
the
he?
house elf.
Yeah.
Dobby. His name's Dobby.
Well, I don't want to be a spoiler alert for people.
Oh, we are all about. I guess we just need to put that at all times. There
All
might be a
right.
spoiler alert
So
because we
when-
talk about movies.
Because she told me, it's like, I hate when Dobby does it. I looked at her, I was like, Dobby doesn't die. What are you talking about? Dobby can't die. I don't remember this. I've seen this before. Dobby doesn't die. And then it happens. I was like, wait, she just said this like 10 minutes ago. Like, and then I look at her and she's, I was like, oh my. And it went on for like 10 minutes. Like she was just stop and come back to it. Like, but why? The credits were coming out and everything. She's still bawling. And I was like, damn, baby. Like, crazy. But she didn't want to watch it, right?
Yeah,
but then she
the
told
one
me,
that didn't want to watch it.
but
Yeah.
then she told me, this is why I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, she says she
So-
doesn't like the last. She doesn't like number 7 because Dobby
Yeah.
dies.
But yeah, so I enjoyed them. It was cool rewatching them. I learned some stuff, I guess, that I forgot. I'm kind of curious about reading the books now.
The books are always better.
Yeah, but
I do not like the way it ends at all, but I feel like it's very 19 years later. There's so much that could have happened that could have been explained.
yeah, my complaint is that one that I put on Star Wars and everybody just
Disappears.
they will disappear. But I put on Harry Potter and they all hang out.
It's because I make them sit and watch things with me. You don't. Because you get tired of them being loud or obnoxious and you just tell them to go away. I tell them to be quiet and sit and watch. So whenever you're watching a movie and you get angry because they're being rambunctious and not paying attention, you literally shoo them away.
But the baby actually does sit and watch movies with me. Like
Not
Star Wars.
Not always.
Yeah, that's true. But she does better than the other ones.
But point being that you shoo them away. You tell, oh, get out of here. Forget it. You're not letting me watch my show. So they just are happy to leave. Whereas I say, be quiet, sit down, and you're going to watch this. That's the difference.
All right. I'm taking another week off and force them to watch Star Wars.
And force them to watch Star Wars because they start asking questions, and then we're like, oh, they haven't seen that movie yet. Oh, they haven't seen that movie. They're not going to understand. They haven't seen it. You make references to characters.
But the thing is, like, my debate is always like, what order should I show them Star Wars?
That's I'm not even going to get in on that one because I've heard lots of people say that you have to do it the original, and then there's lots of people who say you have to do it from 1, 2, 3, 4.
But but then there's like the people that go like, okay, start with episode 4, and then go to episode 5, and when you get to episode 5, go to episode 2, because 1 doesn't really matter, it doesn't count, but it does matter. So then you go like 4, 5, 1, 2. And then go back to 3 and finish the other one.
And then at one point you throw
And
in
then
Clone
go to
Wars
6.
in there.
Yeah, and then no, you can't do Clone Wars. That's too much.
Like, I mean,
Or do you start
is
off?
it too much?
Yeah, or do you just go like like Rogue One, and then like episode 4, 5, 1, 2, 6, 3.
Put them in chronological order.
Yeah, or start 1, 2, 3. 4, 5.
I don't know.
6.
Again, there's lots of people.
Do you show them 7, 8, and 9, or do you just discredit those completely? Do I wait for that new Mandalorian movie that they announced is going to come out that ties in that with how everything comes to an end?
I'm not making a decision on this one. You just need to decide and just do it. Sit down. Strap them all down to the sofa.
Right.
You're gonna watch
Sit
this.
down and watch this. I have spoken. This is the way.
Yeah. Oh, movies. We love movies. Why do people love movies?
It's an escape.
Escape.
It's an escape. It's like your fantasy, like when you're a kid and you play with your toys and you make up your own monologue and stories and your imagination. I mean, if you're one of those kids.
Yeah, because, I mean, we've got the 20-year-old. she's not. She likes movies, but she doesn't like fantasy movies. And I've known people who don't. They can't fathom fantasy. They don't. Their brain just doesn't get it.
Well, you know, like I used to think like a lot of the fantasy stuff was dumb when I was a kid. Like, oh, whatever.
I know adults who don't like it.
Yeah,
So.
I remember like I didn't care too much for like watching when Lord of the Rings came out because I was like everybody was like, oh man, the hobbits, and people were started dressing like that, and I didn't know what a hobbit was, and then I saw people with the elves ear. I was like, oh, freaking losers, dude. And then I watched the Hobbit. I mean, I watched Lord of the Rings, and I was like, yo, I like this. Like, yeah, this is good. This is entertaining. So then I got hooked on it.
It's one of those other movies I read the books before I
yeah, I never read
movies.
the books until later.
The books are so much better.
So much different. Yeah,
every time. I mean, you even when you do your audibles, then you hear the books of things versus the movie.
Yeah,
you've told me the same thing.
And that's the thing. Sometimes when I enjoy certain things on like television or a big screen, and I find out there were a book, I kind of want to go to the book just to see it. But I learned a long time ago that it's better to watch the movie first and then go to the book, because when you read the book first and then you watch the movie, you're criticizing the movie. You're not enjoying it because you're like, oh, they left off this and they left off that and they didn't cover this and they didn't do that, right?
Yep.
But then I also found my way and some stuff that I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, they did cover it, but they're not going into it. But if you read the book, you understand what that look meant or that feeling or what his mental process is going through, because they, you know how on books they describe everything. The
descriptions there.
So yeah, that's happened to me with happened a lot to me with that show, The Terminal List, with Chris Pratt, that Jack Carr book. So I love Jack Carr, right? And I started like listening and reading his books, and
I think you have the whole collection at this point.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the new one. I can't wait. And so when I was watching the show, I was like, oh, they changed this, they changed that, but it makes sense. And then I'm like, oh, like I know what he was thinking here. I know what's going on here. Like so yeah, that's the cool thing. It's kind of like when you watch like the Thomas Jane Punisher, and they add like little Easter like scenes from comic books.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know what he's going to do here. Like,
because because you understand from a comic book perspective what it means.
So
well, it's like our 20-year-old, right? She's interesting. Like, she's never been into fantasy. Like, versus the 23-year-old. I sit there with her and watch fantasy stuff all day long. She's good. But the 20-year-old, she's just, even to this day, if we're watching something and like if she sees me tear up, she's like, I don't get it. Why are you crying? Why is that sad? She's like, I don't get it, Mom. And I'm like, and I have to explain it to her. And she's like, oh yeah, I guess that's sad. I was like,
yeah, she's always been kind of like that. You know?
But that's what I'm saying. She has no imagination.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess everybody has their style, right? Like, so like for me,
well, it's taken our 10-year-old a bit too. Our 10-year-old's kind of like that. He has imagination, but sometimes he'll be like, I don't get it, Mom. But now that he's getting a little older, he's starting to understand the emotion.
Yeah, but he's interesting because he he sees it from a different point of view sometimes in some stories. So we're watching some movies and he explains stuff and you're like, oh man, that's deep. I didn't think about it that way. So he has that. That's why ever since he was a little kid and he played with his brother and that, like, he would do the storylines and he was like telling them, no, and they come from this side and then they do this. And I was like, dude, you're probably going to be a director or a producer when you grow up, because like he, in his mind, he sees things and he wants to play them out like that, you know?
Yeah.
So even now when he watches movies, he points out certain things and I'm like, okay. Like he was calling, we just watched Shazam, and he called a couple of things
the
out.
New one.
Yeah, before they even happened. Like he was like, oh, like they're probably talking about this and that and this is going to happen. And
well, but does that because it's just predictable?
I would say that, but the fact that I didn't think about it, I would say
So just
no.
because you didn't think
Because I
about
am
it.
so like I watch so because I watch so many movies and I'm like, okay, this and this and this is gonna happen, and it's like, predictable, you know. So yeah, but no, that's kind of where we're at. So was there something else that we kind of we're rambling on? I said it was gonna be a ramble on, but I wanted to talk about like you said you wanted to do a follow up on the things that we talked about in the
Yeah.
previous episode. That was I wondered about I don't know how to feel about the oldest one not checking in and reporting.
Oh, well,
And
when I was younger, I used to go with my grandma,
that's right,
for
you
the
did go out.
summers. Yeah, with both my grandmas for the summers. But my parents would check in with me because sometimes I'd go with my aunts, or sometimes I would go with my grandmas, and my mom would call them to check on me. So it wasn't like I could get away from it because there was an adult. Oh, and I did at one point text one of my brothers, and I said, "Hey, can you please remind my son to check his text messages?" I did
Let
get
me know where he's at.
and then I didn't get an answer from my brother, but I did get a text message from our son. So, but again, I had to pull in an adult.
But it was a yes.
Yeah, it was a short
No.
short answer. So, but still, my family didn't have a way to contact me directly. It was more of
Well, back for us, it was a phone call, right? It
yeah,
had
it
to
was
be
a
a
phone
phone
call.
call.
Yeah,
So now with text, but I mean, texts are so simple now.
I know. He never checks his texts. Never.
So yeah, I don't know. Like in a way, I get it. He's on kind of like on vacation from the family, taking a break from us. I guess enjoying time with his uncle. But I mean, he's still a kid, and we're still his parents. So I think he should be checking in and
I
letting us know
agree.
he's doing all right.
I agree.
I mean, not saying daily, but maybe every other day.
Well, I mean, considering he hasn't answered me in a day and a half since my last message to him. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's alive and well because I talked to another adult that's around him.
How do you think he's gonna come back kind of corrupted? You think so? He's with three male figures from your family,
Yeah.
and they're all different in certain ways.
Yes. They're all the same but different.
Do you think that like he might be conflicted on points of views or advice that they're giving him about? Because he's 14, so he's
only
at a
14.
sensitive age.
Yeah,
He's going through changes, so
yeah. Well, yeah, I think he's
And-
gonna come back. But what I think is he's gonna one of two things. He's gonna come back and he's gonna be super quiet and not tell us anything because he's still processing whatever they said, or he just doesn't want to divulge things, or it'll come out slowly, or actually, I think that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna just not really say anything, and then just as the weeks progress, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, so we talked about this," but it'll just slowly come out of him.
I remember when I was 14, that was the first summer that I got to be a truck driver passenger for a few months.
14?
At 14, with one of my brothers, he was a
Oh,
truck
yeah.
driver at the time, and I got to spend some time with him and on the road. Man, I got corrupted. This stuff I saw on the freeway, the fights I heard on the radio, the truck stop stuff, like it's all real. It's all crazy.
Well, I don't think my brothers are going to corrupt him like
But
that.
that's what I'm getting at. There's a night and day difference between your family and my family.
Yeah, no.
So-
My dad's there. I think my dad will check some of that because my dad's like, no, he's a little boy still.
I remember, I mean, I learned so many bad words, so much basing, so much trash talking. It was
I'm sure my brothers are
ridiculous.
cursing around him. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
but the shit that they probably
No,
say compared to
not
mine,
as bad. No,
forget
definitely
about
not.
it. That stuff, great. I mean, that's where I laugh. I was like, okay, so he's doing that, with your side of the family. let's say that I was close to my side of the family, like my dad's side of the family. Let's say I kept in touch
I
with
would
them,
not
whatever.
allow him to go with your
Why
side
not?
of
That's
the
not. It's my family. Why not?
Because
Yeah,
they're
no.
way
If I was
worse.
close to them, no, they're entitled to.
No,
You can go with them
it's pretty
too. That's
bad.
family. So I would send them too. And then, but see how scared you are.
Yeah, because
Can
it's
you
really
imagine how he come
bad.
back?
He'd come back pretty corrupted, yeah. I
Yeah,
like him being innocent still.
yeah.
You like him being innocent still.
Mm,
You have your moments. Sometimes you're happy that he's innocent because we know he's safe. It tells us that we're raising him in a safe environment.
Sometimes I just don't know if it's just all show when I try to talk to him about certain things.
Well, it could
Some of the
be.
jokes. I mean, I feel like no way, dude.
Especially because you say things in front of me, so it's completely possible that
But even when
he
we're
plays it
alone, I try
down.
to have conversations. And that's the funny thing. Like when we're alone, I try to have conversations with him, but he's just quiet. He doesn't talk to me. And I mean it. Like he doesn't. Like I try.
He doesn't always talk to me. He'll come and talk to me when he feels like talking to me. I can't get a conversation out of him. If he does not feel like talking to me, he won't.
So I remember there was this little while where he had this little friend who was a girl. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, she's pretty. He's like, you should call her. You should text her more. You want to go hang out with her? Yeah, I'll drop you off. Yeah, yeah, we'll take you. You know, we'll be around. Call us.
Is this
We'll
in
run
8th grade or
errands.
ninth grade?
Like, whatever it was last year before last.
Okay.
It's only one girl that we did that with. But bottom line was like, oh, dad. And I was like, oh, have you called her? Oh, there, you're going to go. You're going to go. I was like, dude, like, I don't get it. You guys were so cool.
Yeah.
And now it's like this hate.
But he did that with all his friends.
He does that with everybody, yeah.
But where does he
But
get
why?
that? Is he get that from you?
Nah.
Like this whole, like, I don't need people?
Maybe. I don't know. I doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I doubt it because wouldn't he have to be around me more or talk to me more to be like that?
I don't think so. I think in his head somewhere, he thinks that this is the way to be.
Well, then he should talk to me about it, right? Because I tried talking to him and I try to give him advice like, don't be like that, or, you know, like I told him in the text, elaborate. So the first time I tell him, like, have you texted? Have you checked in? Like, phones work both ways. You know, you need to reach out to people too.
But he's like that with everybody. Like I've noticed. He's even told me, "Oh yeah, so and so texted me. Oh yeah, they just texted you right now. Oh no, like a day ago. And you're just reading their message today." He goes, "Yeah, I didn't notice." He just doesn't check his text messages. That's what he says. I don't know if it's true, but that's what he tells me. He makes it seem like he's not checking them. So, but if he's on Snapchat, that he checks. But that's because he's got like 4 streaks going on with different friends.
Well, I'm pretty sure I ruined that when I blocked his phone that night.
Maybe. Well, no, he does all his streaks in the morning when he first wakes up.
Because it's so important. Well, anything else that you have on your stuff? Anything? I mean, we talked about the break. Didn't go as planned, but I think it still went nice. Got to know my kids a little bit more.
Yeah.
The baby definitely is different around the 2 older siblings and all 3 siblings. I feel like I haven't seen her and enjoyed her as much as I do when they're at school, and it's just our youngest one is here.
She's been playing by herself a lot.
Well, I mean, she does that when they're at school, but she likes to fight with them. I noticed that she likes to pick at them.
Oh yeah, and instigate things.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder where she gets it from.
Except with her brother, she really wants her brother around her. Every time he leaves her alone, she has a fit. That's new to me. But I got to see the kids in a different light, which is funny. I see. I'm trying to really get to know them. Like they're a certain way with me usually, I guess, on the weekends. But now that I've seen them the whole week, like I guess they let their guard down, and I get to see like how they plan and scheme and instigate and poke each other and fight. So
well, it doesn't help that you tell the 4-year-old every day when you leave that she's allowed to fight with whoever she wants.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't help. My
What?
dad said I could. Dad said I could fight with them.
Yeah. She's not gonna be bullied.
She's not being bullied. She's a big bully herself. The 6-year-old's a bully too, though.
Yeah, she is. That one's the one that we need to watch out for.
Yeah, I know.
And she's got a horrible temper.
Yeah, I wonder if she gets that too.
Sore loser.
She's a big time sore loser.
Physical as heck.
Yep.
And she's a Tonka truck.
Sounds like her dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one day.
And you want to put her in jiu-jitsu and give her more skills.
Maybe she needs that escape.
Maybe she needs that escape. I don't know. I can just see her tackling some kids at school because she can't check her anger. Even though she swears she's not like this at school. She says she's only like this at home.
I kind of believe it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's gone kind of fast. Like this week,
I think also because we've been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still a little tight on some of those muscles. I always say like, "Oh, I work so much at work," but nah, I take it back, man. I think I've been procrastinating that a little bit too much lately because man, that thing whooped my butt. And I was gonna say, we were talking. I got sidetracked with it, but I was gonna say the baby, like you were saying that she did so good and she got on all these rides, and we got on that Jurassic World ride. And they were like, no way can she get in. And they gave her like a height check and everything. And she got on. And they're like, you sure? And they're like, yeah, she made it. She made it. And everybody was like concerned. And then they put us in the front row. Mm-hmm. The sun's coming down already. And we get that big old dip. And we all get soaking wet.
Only you and I got soaking wet. Yeah. We managed to protect the kids pretty well.
And it was so cold afterwards, and because we were wet and everything.
Yeah, because we had said we were going to go on that ride first for the same reason. And then when we got there, it was already a 2-hour wait. Yeah. So we were like, forget about that. We'll just do something else.
And then, but we get done, and our 10-year-old's like, my head hurts. I didn't like it. I want to get down. I want to get off. I want to get off. I want to get off. I'm like, dude, the ride's over. Like, we're waiting to get off. It was like, no, I don't. My head hurts. I don't want to. I'm done. I'm done. Like, he didn't like it. Like, it scared the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And the baby was like, I want to do it again.
But I think our 10-year-old had the hardest time on some of those rides. I think I need to take him back to the doctor for a concussion check because I don't know if it's that or if it's just now in his head where he's scared.
Yeah.
But
he asked me about that on Monday. He asked me about concussions. And I told him that we were a different era of kids. So when I was a kid and we fell down and we hit our heads, yeah, it hurt and our eyes were sensitive. But my parents weren't the ones that, would always take us to the doctor or to the urgent care. Like, we had a concussion, we had to suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Wow. On the other hand, nowadays, the kids today, anything goes wrong, any little hit or whatever, not some automatically urgent care and concussion, all this or that, and they make a big deal of it. And I was like, I was like, I'm built different, bro. I'm built to suck it up and drive on.
He was complaining of, and he does this at school sometimes, where the loudness gets to him when things start to get too loud. Or things, I don't know if it's a change. It starts to bother his head, and this has been going on for a while now. I know we had him checked, like neurologically and stuff like that, and they made it seem like his head was fine. But
so there it is.
As a mom, though, I don't know. As a mom, it's just like it's weird that every now and then this stuff comes up.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has to learn to deal with it. He's like you said, you already went to the doctor and he's fine. Like.
But we know doctors don't know everything. Well,
stop babying him. He needs to learn to deal with it.
You tell me I don't baby this one enough. So this is the one thing I worry about with him. Yeah. That and his pigeon toed.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I just kick him in the foot and trips a few times and he'll be fine.
Oh, yes. That's what you're going to do.
I told you that would make him perfect for football, but I did not get one kid that's going to play sports.
Nope. Maybe the 6-year-old.
6-year-old? Yeah, maybe. Can see that.
She wants to play sports.
Maybe, yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I always got headaches during rides or, headaches after loud noises. I mean, everything in that park is pretty freaking loud. So I can see, a little overstimulation. But, I mean, did you not ever go to theme parks and have a headache afterwards? Like all that adrenaline, all that whiplash.
When I was little, I didn't. Not at his age. I didn't start having head issues until after I actually got whiplash.
I always did.
I got whiplash as a teenager. And
officially whiplash.
Yeah, officially whiplash. And after that, I would get headaches anytime I rode a roller coaster. Yep. Yeah. I think there is something to it. I mean, it might not show up on MRIs or CAT scans all the time, but there's something there. Yeah. I know you don't believe it or whatever. You've been hit so many times in the head. I don't even think it matters to you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Like, I was like, I've fallen off motorcycles. I've crashed motorcycles.
Yeah, but again, you're built different.
I rolled over on the dune buggy with my brother-in-law. I've been
You're
in car accidents.
You're built more solid. That's all it is.
It's not about being solid. Like, shit hurt, but had to deal with it. It's kind of like when I was in that car accident with my stepmom and I popped my clavicle back out. And it was like, it took like about a week for them to find out.
That's just bad parenting.
Yeah, bad doctors too, I guess.
Yeah, bad doctors.
Because they're like, oh, well, I was like, nah, man, it really hurts. Like, it's like, I can't move this arm right. Something's wrong.
It's bad
and
doctors.
They get there checking my shoulder. And I was like, you know what? I broke my clavicle a while ago, and now I have this new bump over here. And they're like, oh, well, that shouldn't be a problem. It should already be inhaled by now. And I was like, oh, yeah, it looks like it slid a little bit. I was like, oh, okay.
Those are just bad doctors.
Yeah.
And we know there's plenty of those.
Well, no, they saw it right away as soon as they did another x-ray.
Well, but that was another set of doctors.
Well, that happens.
Yeah.
It happens when you go to Chula Juana doctors.
Yep. Oh, well. But that was it. I mean, there's nothing else.
Well, it was cool. I mean, I had fun. I liked it. I want to go again. The kids liked it. I got grief for wearing a Clippers hat once. That was going to happen a lot, being in Lakerland. But it didn't happen. And I wish I would have gotten more because at the end the Clippers won. So, but yeah, I guess while we're pre-recording all this is the day before Easter. So once again, have a great one, people, for your Easter.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Drive safely if you're celebrating, and have a great rest of your week.
Alrighty.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.